After taking Amtrak California's Pacific Surfliner north to San Luis Obispo, I spent the night at a hostel nearby the station, then awoke the next morning and boarded a slow RTA Route 10 bus south to Santa Maria, California, where I spent the day making a video on their new electric microtransit vehicles that you can watch at the link above. After indulging in a tri-tip dinner for lunch, I got ready to begin my return trip to Los Angeles via the Surfliner via Amtrak's Thruway bus Route 17. Across California, Amtrak Thruway routes link cities along heavy passenger rail routes to trains that either pass by them or don't offer frequent service throughout the day. Thruway bus routes are prevalent in Amtrak's nationwide system, but often come by way of Greyhound, Flixbus, or other operators' existing routes sold under those companies' timetables. In California, these buses are sold as accommodations only by Amtrak, so the clientele aboard is solely folks connecting to or from Amtrak trains. In our case today, the Thruway bus stop is located in front of an IHOP restaurant just off Highway 101 in Santa Maria, and was correctly labeled as such on Google Maps and Amtrak's website, where I booked the ticket. Just as when I took a Thruway bus from San Francisco to Emeryville this past January, the stop was marked with a logo, but had posted an outdated schedule. This and the fact the bus was running late, having begun its trip all the way north in the Bay Area, made me somewhat guarded about this trip successfully continuing on. But about 15 minutes behind schedule, the coach bus soon emerged off Highway 101 and proceeded to take us on board for our trip south to catch our train at Santa Barbara. I took a seat near the front of this, a Volvo coach bus with a somewhat tight seat pitch, but slightly better than Greyhound. The seats were padded about as stiffly as most North American long-distance coach buses, which is to say I doubt I'd look forward to taking an overnight journey aboard this Thruway service in regard to the level of comfort in the seating, but for a couple of hours it wasn't that bad. There is power for device charging at each pair of seats, and the standard overhead reading lamps round out this as a service with average at-seat amenities for a coach bus. Our trip today follows Highway 101 from Santa Maria to Buellton and then diverts to the city of Solvang. Though these are all stops on the basis of tickets having been sold for any given city along the way, the bus drives past all of them, being that tickets can be sold up to the minute of boarding time, and thus the bus has to make a good faith effort to serve each stop, even if only to drive past once it's confirmed that no one is boarding there on each run of each day. The views from Highway 101 are actually as spectacular as Onboard the Surfliner in many ways. Carving through hills via valleys along this historic coastal highway brings plenty of sights to enjoy along the way. No refreshments are provided, but you can still bring snacks, and I was plenty full from my early dinner for lunch. Though with the energy drink consumed while rolling through the hills, my full stomach got somewhat uneasy, nothing that some occasional shut-eye segments couldn't overcome. We're still running behind schedule, but by a little less as we enter Buellton. It's the stop ahead in Solvang that will prove dicey in a little while. Solvang is a town that holds on to a great deal of Danish heritage. Home of the Hans Christian Andersen Museum, there's no shortage of Danish-themed architecture and shops around the tightly spaced downtown, which our bus struggles to navigate given that local schools have recently dismissed for the day, and California drivers are proving to not be accommodating to the coach bus, attempting to stay on time as it makes several tight turns in the central business district. Eventually, we make our way out of Solvang and back to Highway 101, approaching the coastline we saw from the northbound Surfliner less than 24 hours before. The bus is equipped with a restroom, though its functionality proved to be increasingly lacking the more I looked around. After just under 2 hours aboard, we make a good faith effort at a penultimate stop on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. This is a good service to link more cities to an already expansive for North America rail system. But things like a properly repaired restroom would make the journey much more tolerable, especially on longer runs.
Take baggage off the bus until everybody is off the bus. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
I was glad to arrive at Santa Barbara's historic passenger railroad station. From here, there are throughway services on into LA and east to Las Vegas. But it's the southbound Pacific Surfliner that we'll be taking in a future video. If you're new to the channel, I want to thank you for watching and ask that you consider liking and subscribing. I take trips practically and try to show how I get places with my unique view across all forms of transportation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for another segment of my wandering.